The rich do not borrow. The rich have their own cash. Come on, who tells you that? That's a lie. The rich do borrow, and it's very okay to borrow money. And that's why we are here to talk about that on the Smart Money Hub. My name is Webb. Like, share, and subscribe, and let people know about the Smart Money Hub, where we come here every week to speak about important things about money. My name is Webb Daniel, and I'm always joined by a financial expert.
I'm happy to be here as always.
Mr. Godfrey Kasozi, always giving us a lot of information. Now, we are going to talk about borrowing. Now, we did start a series on borrowing, and I've seen so many of you interested in the things we speak about. But in case you missed the last episode, Mr. Kasozi, could you please recap for them why people get issues with borrowing? That's what we spoke about.
Yes, why we get issues with borrowing. That is what we talked about in the last video. And straight to the point, we have limited counseling services. Those few that are there, we also don't utilize them. We tend to borrow at very high interest rates. We have even limited financial literacy. We don't use the money we borrow for the right things. We have social and cultural factors which impact on us. We borrow because of them. We don't embrace digital payments. We don't embrace scorecards, the financial cards. And yet the borrowing loans have become very, very accessible. They are all over the place. On apps, phone apps, bank officials visiting us in our offices. The kiosks are mushrooming all over. There are higher purchase goods. So
they are looking for us.
They are looking for us, and we are borrowing irresponsibly, and we are getting all the problems that come with that.
Right on the money. You spoke about borrowing irresponsibly, and that gets us into our conversation. We are going to talk about responsible borrowing. First of all, define it for us. What is responsible borrowing?
I'll define it in the mature way, not in the textbook way. To borrow responsibly is to borrow while you are mindful of your financial status, mindful of your credit worthiness, and mindful of your ability to repay back the loan.
Go deeper. How do I do this?
So how do we borrow responsibly? Because I know most of us have been waiting for that. That, okay, how do I borrow responsibly? Let us go through it. Straight to the point as always. Borrow only for only what you need. Don't borrow, for example, don't borrow to maintain your life, day-to-day life. Don't borrow for luxurious parties, like very pompous birthday parties. You go to borrow to put a very pompous birthday party. Don't borrow because of bandwagon. Bandwagon, because so and so is borrowing, so and so is borrowing. People are talking about it.
So it's the cool thing now. Let me also borrow.
Let me also borrow. Don't go bandwagon way. That sums up the first one of borrow for only what you need. Number two, understand the loan terms.
That's an important one, Mr. Kasozi.
Understand the terms of the loan. Listen carefully to the loans officer who is explaining to you the loan products. And for which particular product you are to choose, understand its terms and conditions. Understand its interest rates and the way they are charged. Understand the repayment terms. What will happen if you don't pay like this, if you pay like this and this? Understand very well. That is responsible borrowing. Understand the fees associated with the loan that you are going to take. Many of us, we don't bother about that.
These charges that come with
we are our hands are itching. We want the cash.
We don't even ask questions.
We don't even ask very many questions. You are looking at the pen. You are waiting for when it is going to be given to you to sign. 3, affordability of the loan that you are taking. Look at its monthly installment. Are you going to be comfortable with that monthly installment? If it is 350,000 per month, are you going to manage it comfortably? Or should you, because the loans officer is there with you, you can ask this and that, rather than diving into the loan and you are not, it's not going to be affordable for you. I already said borrow for only things that are essential,
not non-essentials.
not non-essentials. There you will be borrowing responsibly. Number 5, shop around.
What's that? What do you mean shop around?
One of the biggest problems is that we are always in a hurry. Shop around, look at different lenders, different options.
Compare
them. Compare them.
Don't borrow from the first available.
The first available, because a friend has talked about them and the like. Because if you compare, then you will get to know, this one is giving me a good deal, the other one is not giving me a good deal. This one, because of my situation, I would rather go with this. Please shop around and get the best service provider.
Compare always goes with contrasting. Compare and contrast.
Compare and do contrast.
And
please.
Then make a decision.
Yes.
A smart money decision.
Okay. Then read the loan agreement very properly. We call it read fine print. You read the fine print. Read it carefully, because those loan agreements sometimes embed some things, they hide some things in that literature. And I hear, if you want to hide something from, is it an African or a human being?
Put it in writing.
Put it in writing, hide it in those prints. Read very well, and so that you can fish out the hidden fees.
Yeah.
You can fish out the hidden surprises. So that you can even refuse the loan. You can even say, no, according to this, which I have read in this section, I think I will not take this loan. It is not fair.
It reminds me of when I was, employed. Whenever I would get my contracts, these people who give you contracts would try to rush you into signing a contract, but you want to read this thing and internalize it, understand it. Would you advise people to do the same with loans? If you're given that document, spend a night with it, a week with it if you have to.
Yes.
Go to your lawyer if you have one.
If you have one, go to
the way you do your contract.
Yes, go to an interpreter.
Yeah.
Usually it is even in English.
Yeah.
Some of us are not very comfortable with English. Take it to your son, take it to your daughter, take it to your cousin, sit down with somebody. The only problem we have is most of the time we want to borrow in a rush. But a loan must be something planned.
Yeah.
Planned. You get it, go and read through it, because sometimes if you pay an application fee, they will give you the documents. Go, as you are looking for your guarantors, also read through it. Anything you don't understand, please come back and ask. That's what we call reading the fine print. Then avoid high interest loans, because they are there.
Yeah.
They are there, especially the ones that come easily. All this comes with whatever I have been saying from number 1.
Yeah.
From number 1, number 2, number 3. Please avoid the very high interest. Then counseling is also very important.
Credit counseling.
Credit counseling. Let us start embracing it. Usually we don't. I even said it in the previous video. We don't want to go into it. We think it is an unnecessary expense. But these people have very well researched things which they can tell you, ideas which they can tell you, so that you avoid them. Why do you want to experiment? Yet they are experts who already know these things, the counselors. Counseling is not only for alcoholics, marriages, and
depressed people, divorcees or whatever,
or people with mental problems. No, even for borrowers. Well, you need counselors. When you are taking it, along the way, as when you are paying, even at the end, when you get problems, instead of running away, counselors can give you some kind of, Then another thing is that I also talked about it. While borrowing, another ingredient of responsible borrowing, let us learn to embrace the scorecards, the financial cards. The financial card, one good thing about it is that apart from the other person who is going to lend you getting information about you and deciding whether to give you the loan or not, even you yourself, it helps you to restrain yourself from bad practices, to restrain yourself from defaulting.
And it's very important in life to have things that restrain you, because
Yeah.
the human nature is somehow,
If you have nothing,
the adrenaline will make you do things at times you're not really.
if you have nothing restraining you, but this card will restrain you, you will fear to default on the loan because it will give you bad record, and other people, even landlords, will not want to take you into their houses. I have very many examples of restrainers. Yesterday I had a conversation with somebody, and he was giving me examples of an expert, a business expert, was giving me examples of restraining. For example, he told me that never mortgage your house, your habitation where you sleep with your family. Never mortgage it. To mortgage means to give it as a security for a loan. And he told me that he restrained himself from doing that by registering his habitation home in as a property of a company which he created himself.
So he created a company,
registered his house as a property of that company, then he closed the company.
Wow.
So I asked him, why did you close the company? That I was restraining myself from mortgaging, giving my home as a security for a loan.
Well, because if I have to do that, I'll have to go through a process.
I will have to reopen the company, the bureaucracy of reopening the company, putting their directors to sign on the mortgage contracts, all of that. So he was making it difficult for himself. Yeah. Wow. Then another one also told me he restrained himself from dipping into his savings by opening an account far away in another country and banking the money in that account.
There is no way who would access the money.
Yeah, technology had not come so much in those days. Wow. There would be some kind of bureaucracy in accessing money. So the card, financial card, is a very good restrainer.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kasozi. Those are interesting points to end on. I think you've learned a thing or two about restraining. I think we have just a minute, Mr. Kasozi, for your parting shots. Any parting shots?
As I said, that every time, from now on, we are going to bring something that is not necessarily related to the topic. Last time I talked about eggs, allowing the hen to lay eggs on sand. Those eggs hatch 100%. There's another technique with that, which we are going to look at today. We're talking about local chicken. When the hen when she starts laying the eggs, make sure at any one time there is only one egg on the sand. How do you do that? Whenever she lays, remove one and leave one. Keep one elsewhere in a cool place. When she lays another one, remove one and leave one. Experts have told us that that technique urges the hen to lay more,
to fill the gap,
to lay more. Then when you see that she has almost laid to her maximum, and she's starting to sit on them, to brood them, bring back the ones you have been keeping elsewhere. Give them to her once again.
Wow.
She sits on them. That is a good technique to help to keep motivate the hen to lay more and maximize
the laying.
Yeah.
Smart money hub, Mr. Kasozi Godfrey there, a financial expert, fast becoming a poultry expert as well, I believe. Thank you so much for subscribing. If you haven't, do the needful, and of course, drop down a comment, and let's just get that feedback. My name is Web Daniel. Cheers.
We meet next time.